everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to do some keto recipes. I love doing keto. I'm really trying to get back on keto and it has been a huge blessing in my life. So I wanted to do some keto recipes that are absolutely amazing, and there's one that I'll tell you in the video. It is divine. It doesn't even taste like a keto recipe, honestly. It is so good. So I hope that you guys enjoy these. Let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to start off with chicken bacon ranch casserole. This one is a very thick and creamy type of a casserole. You're going to start off with 1.5 pounds of chicken breasts. You just want to cube them up and put them off to the side. Next, we're going to grab a large bowl. Please do make sure that it's large. Mine is kind of like a medium to large bowl, but I had trouble mixing everything together. So definitely get a really large bowl. You're gonna need 1 ounce of ranch seasoning and then 1/2 cup of bacon bits. We're also gonna need 1 cup of mayo. Go ahead and add that to our bowl. I always just buy the big containers of the ranch seasoning mix, so that's why I don't usually use the packets. It's just a lot more budget friendly that way. We're also going to add 1 cup of sour cream, and then I have 1 block of cream cheese. We're also going to add 1 10 to 12 ounce bag of broccoli, and then 1 cup of cheddar cheese, and then we're going to go ahead and give that a mix. This does take just a little bit to get mixed through, and it took me a little bit longer just because I don't have that big of a bowl here. But once you get it mixed through, this is what it's going to look like. It's very creamy. It has lots of creamy sauce to it. You guys are going to love this one. So next, we're just going to put that to the side. We're going to get a 9x13 pan, and we're going to lightly grease that. We're going to add our mixture to the very bottom. And then we're just going to smooth that out, making sure that's nice and even. And of course, just like any casserole, we're going to add some lovely toppings to it. I like to add just a little bit of cheese, so I probably put about another 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of cheddar cheese right on top. And then I wanted to put some bacon bits, so I put probably about another 1/4 cup of bacon bits right on top. And then we're going to bake this in the oven at 350 for about 45 minutes. You guys, this is so good. It was so thick and creamy. My husband loves a good chicken bacon ranch, but this casserole, so good, so delicious. And I even think like some cauliflower, if you want to add cauliflower to this meal, that would be delicious too. This one was a huge hit in my family. Up next is a beef burrito skillet. So the first thing we're going to need to do is get a medium saucepan, and we're going to cook up this ground beef until it's nice and brown. I went ahead and diced up 1/2 of an onion and placed it in there as well, and then a whole green bell pepper. Just threw that in there so that it'll all cook together and that the onions will get nice and soft alongside the green peppers. Once that is completely cooked, I did add just a little bit of taco seasoning, just a regular 1 ounce package, and then I'm going to add 1 cup of riced cauliflower. I typically do not cook with riced cauliflower. I find it kind of disturbing, but it turned out really well. I was very well pleased with this meal. I'm also going to add 1 can of Rotel and just get that cooked through. And then I cut up 3 low carb tortillas. I just cut them up into little strips. I put that in my saucepan, and I also added 1 cup of shredded Fiesta blend cheese. Put that in there and just let all of that kind of cook for just another couple minutes. And then this is what it's going to look like after it's all done. This is delicious. You just want to make sure that that rice cauliflower is cooked through. So you just want to make sure that that is nice and tender and nice and soft. This is a delicious meal, and it's a great alternative to having just tacos or burritos. This meal was fantastic. Up next, we're going to be making some chicken enchiladas. You guys, this recipe blew my mind. It is so amazing, so simple to do too. So first, we're going to be making the sauce. So I need 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm just going to wait for that to melt. Next, I'm going to be adding 2 tablespoons of almond flour, and I was really unsure about using almond flour because it always has that gritty taste to it, but you cannot taste any of that in here. So I was very, very well pleased with that. I'm also going to add an ounce of taco seasoning, and I know a lot of taco seasonings have a lot of bad stuff in it, but you can make your own, or this Thrive Market one is really good. It's just spices, so that's great. Okay, once all of the taco seasoning is mixed in properly, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 cups of chicken broth. Once that kind of gets a little bit thicker, then I can go ahead and add my cheese, and it's going to take a little bit for that cheese to really get melted in with that broth just because it's pretty liquidy. But that's going to thicken up, and once that thickens up, then we're going to add 1 cup of sour cream. I'm also going to add 1 4-ounce can of green chilies. That's going to give it such a beautiful flavor to these enchiladas. I love a good green enchiladas like sauce. Green chili enchiladas are my favorite. Next, we're going to grab a large bowl. We're going to put 2 cups of rotisserie chicken or just cooked up chicken alongside 2 teaspoons of garlic powder and then 3/4 a cup of Monterey Jack cheese. And then I'm going to put a whole block of cream cheese in there as well. Go ahead and you're going to just give that a really good stir. I think adding some green chilies would be wonderful in the mix as well. I just decided to do Rotel. There's some green chilies in there, but I think a small 4-ounce can of green chilies would be really good in this as well. I'm just going to put that off to the side once everything has been stirred through properly. I'm going to go ahead and spray my 9x13 pan. I have these low carb tortillas. You can find La Bandrita is probably my favorite brand for low carb tortillas. Also, like Aldi has their own, Walmart has their own. I think every store has their own like store brand of low carb tortillas. I'm so thankful that we can find those pretty much anywhere now. So I'm just going to wrap them up. I have a really good portion of chicken in each of these tortillas. This made about 10. There's 8, I believe, maybe 6 to 8 showing right here, but I ended up making about 10 of these. I'm just going to get that sauce and pour it right on top. And then I'm going to grab some Monterey Jack cheese and just put that right on top of your sauce there. All right, now we're going to put this in the oven at 375 for 25 minutes. This is what it's going to look like after it's done cooking. This was heavenly, you guys. So delicious. You can make some like cauliflower rice to go alongside it. I just ate it by itself. My family ended up having like some chips with it, but for me personally, since I'm doing keto, this one was so delicious, and it was only 6 net carbs. Absolutely phenomenal. Up next is chicken and broccoli casserole. So I had recorded part of this and then I accidentally deleted it, but this is just 2 pounds of chicken that I'm cooking up. And then I have about 4 cups of broccoli that I just put in some water just to kind of cook that way. In a large bowl, I'm putting 2 tablespoons of mayo and then half a cup of cheddar cheese. I'm also going to put half a cup of cream cheese into the bowl as well. 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and then just go ahead and give that a stir till it is well combined. Now that our chicken is done cooking, we're just going to put all of that into our bowl. I also have our 4 cups of broccoli we're going to put in here as well. And at the very best that we can, we're going to stir that all together. I didn't want to overcook my broccoli at all, so they are just barely done. They are still slightly hard, but we're going to be putting everything into the oven, so I didn't want the broccoli to get overcooked or anything. We have our 9x13 pan. I do like to spray that just so it doesn't stick. And then we're just going to pour our mixture right on top and then just smooth everything out, make it nice and even. And then of course, since this is a casserole, we're going to put lots of cheese on top. I have half a cup of Colby Jack cheese. I also have some Parmesan cheese that we're going to put on top. I just shaking just a little bit. I'd say this is about another 3/4 of a cup of cheese. All right, and now we're just gonna put that in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes. Everything looks delicious. It had a wonderful creamy texture to it. It wasn't like overkill on the type of sauce that we put in here. So this is just enough to give it a really good creamy texture, but not overkill whatsoever. I did go ahead and pair this with a salad as well. This dinner was fabulous. And this last one that we're going to be making is a chicken pot pie soup. To your Dutch oven, we are going to add a couple tablespoons of olive oil or avocado oil. I have half of an onion we're going to put in there. And then I have this 10-ounce bag of this California medley. And before you guys freak out on me for putting carrots into a soup and claiming that it's keto, it is still keto, guys. This whole bag has 12 net carbs, and we are going to be splitting this up to 6 servings. So this whole thing, this whole pot that we're going to be making is actually only going to be 3 to 4 carbs per serving. So that is keto friendly, and it is going to be okay if you take a couple bites of carrots. It's not going to throw you out of ketosis whatsoever. So to our pot, we're going to add 1.5 pounds of diced up chicken. We need about 3 tablespoons of minced up garlic, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, and then 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then we're just going to give that a good stir, and we're just going to let that cook through. I like to put the lid on for about 5 minutes just so it will cook that chicken a little bit better. I'm just using my spoon to make sure that that chicken is in bite-sized pieces and that none of them is stuck together. Now I'm going to be adding 4 cups of chicken broth, and I just give it a good stir. I'm going to put the lid on and I'm going to let it cook till it comes to a simmer. Once it's come to a simmer, I'm going to take the lid off, and then we're going to add 1 cup of, you can either add half and half or heavy whipping cream. It will change the carb amount just a hair. I have 1 cup of shredded up cheddar cheese that we're going to add as well. And you're just going to give that a good stir until it gets a little bit on the thicker side. Since I'm using half and half, mine isn't very thick, but it is very delicious, has lots of flavor in it. I don't really care so much if it's thin or thick. I just don't really have that big of a preference when it comes to soup, so I just cooked it as like this. But if you want to add some xanthan gum in it to thicken it up, you can do that as well if you like more of a thick and creamy soup. This is what it looked like after it was done. So very delicious, very hearty, and of course if you add the heavy whipping cream, it's going to make you have more saturated feeling to it. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoy keto recipes. If you like keto recipes, please give me a big thumbs up. Consider subscribing below. Also, let me know what your favorite keto recipe is. I would love to know. That way I can venture out and try new recipes. I'd love to do that. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.